Welcome to The Hero Maker. In this series, we follow Richard's appearances on other shows as he talks about how to grow, play, think, and live like a hero. Join him as he discusses thoughts, principles, and life lessons, all essential for anyone building their heroic brand. All that and more, only on The Hero Maker.
So typography is really easy. Most people get typography wrong by picking too many fonts, right? They have, the fonts they use on their headlines, and they have 2 or 3 different body fonts they use on their website, and then they, get printed material done, and there's a different font there, and they do their course, and the cover for the course is different, and their logo font is different, and by the time they're all said and done, they got 5 or 10 or 15 different fonts used for different things. And again, from a design perspective, each of those things in place might look great, but when you look at your brand overall, if there's not a cohesiveness to it, then you will, it's detracting from that invisible trust factor, right? So like, just as an example, look at anything Apple's ever put out over the last 10 years, right? They all match, right? They all fit together. Everything from, and a lot of that has to do with Apple has like their own custom design font that is the Apple font they use for everything, so it's recognizable. Disney does the same thing, right? I actually just saw a post on social media the other day that was showing like, can you name the movie based on the font, right? If they just took the word Disney and put it in the movie's font, you would know what movie it was, right? Because they're iconic. And so your fonts are similar like that. We don't have to work on being iconic with our fonts. So the thing that I tell my clients is the 80-20 there is just consistency. So I tell all of my clients, you pick a headline font. Headline font can be very stylized because it's not going to be used real well. So like I had one of my clients was like, hey, I want to have a real, he said the word he used was edgy, like an edgy font. We ended up using like a brush font that was used for his headlines, and like his USP was in that, and the headlines on a lot of his branding materials were done in that. And then we went with a real, tall, thin font for his body font that was easy to read. So generally you want your a headline font and a body font, and if you use those consistently throughout your designs, it's one of those invisible trust factors, right? So the way I like to give this example for people is it's actually a photography example, but have you ever seen those ring lights that people use on YouTube to like light their face up? Those ring lights are there's nothing wrong with them. They do provide really good light. But if you look at the catch light in someone's eyes, it makes a little donut hole in their eyeball. And if you take someone who's got a picture with a ring light and has a little donut hole in their eyeball, and you take someone who's got a regular round light, that's a regular diffuse light, and take the same picture of them and put it up in front of an audience and say, which picture do you like better? 99 times out of 100, the person who doesn't know what you're asking them for will say, I like the picture with the round eyeball light better, right? Because we are trained to notice certain things. Like our sun is round, so we're used to seeing round catch lights in people's eyes. We're not used to seeing donut hole catch lights in someone's eyes. So they're not going to notice, they won't be able to tell you, hey, it's the catch light that's off if everything else in the picture is the same, right? They're not going to be able to say, hey, it's the catch light that is making me think that this picture is better than that picture, right? Only a photographer would really notice that. But in the same way, your typography is the same thing, right? When you put your business and your typography together, if you show someone 2 different brands and both of them have really good design work being done, but one of them has typography that is tying it all together and the other one does not, and you show that to 2 different people, show it to people, most people will say, I like this brand better. They may not be able to indicate to you that it's the consistency of the typography, but that's what they're seeing, right? It's one of those unconscious trust signals that this is a better brand because they're paying attention to smaller details, right? It's one of those, I don't exactly know how to describe it better than that, but it's not something that your audience is going to be like, wow, I'm really impressed with how consistently you use your typography, right? It's never going to happen. But if you do it, it will increase the trust you have with your audience, and they won't be able to tell you why, but it is something that happens.
If you want to hear the rest of this discussion, please check out the link to the full episode in the description below.